you get into entertainment and the the shows, the reality shows? How do you break in that industry? I guess some people would say.
Well, interestingly enough, it was not something I sought out. It kind of fell in my lap. I'm not like an entertainment. Well, some people would call me entertaining because I'm very dramatic, but I wasn't looking for it. It just ended up in my inbox on Facebook. A scout DM'd me, and I was going through my messages one day, and honestly, I thought it was a scam. Because they were like, "Hey, I checked out your profile. I think you'd be a good fit for a project we're working on. Are you interested in, participating in reality TV?" And I was like, "Okay, yeah, right." And I was like, "Do you want my credit card number?" Because I was just waiting. And she was really sweet. Her name was Jessica, and she was a very nice lady. And we had a little chat, and then pretty quickly I realized it wasn't a scam. Okay. And she put me in touch with the casting director at E1 Entertainment, and I did a little Zoom question and answer session for about 15-20 minutes, and that was pretty much it. And interestingly enough, I auditioned at the time with my son, not knowing that was for MILF Manor season 1. Oh, wow. And I never knew. I was never told it was MILF Manor season. We didn't get it. Thankfully. And then she made the comment that the producers kind of liked the energy and how you presented. So if something else comes up in the future, I may reach back out. I was like, okay, sure. And honestly, I didn't think another thing of it. It was, it's fun and it was interesting and whatever. And so I went and continued on with my life. And about a year later, she reached out again and said, "Hey, I've got this new opportunity called Northern Love."
Wow.
They didn't tell us it was MILF Manor until we were up in Toronto the day before filming started.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So that year later, were you thinking, "Oh, they're not going to call anymore"?
Yeah. I hadn't even thought about it. And I got a text, and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure. I'll listen to it." And I did another Zoom interview type situation, and she called back, and at first it was like, "Yeah, you're in," and then there was a lot of back and forth because I sent one of my friends to her as well, to the casting director, Jocelyn, and she got cast fairly quickly.
Oh, wow.
But then me, I was in and out. So I don't know what behind the scenes discussions were going on. They were like, "No, we don't like her." Yeah, we like her. "No, we don't like her." So it wasn't until 36 hours before I had to be in Toronto that they finally gave me the green light and told me to pack. And I got my flight information.
So what did your family say? Were you single or married at the time?
Single. I haven't been married since 2015. So very single. I hadn't even dated. I hadn't had a boyfriend in 2 years. So very single. And the first thing I did was I ran it by my kids, because my kids are older. I have a 28-year-old son and an 18-year-old daughter, and they were 17 and 27 at the time. And I kind of ran it by them, and my son was fairly indifferent. He was like, "Yeah, whatever, Mom." And then my daughter, she was like, "Yeah, you should do it." And there was a point where I was like, "No, I'm just not going to do it. This is ridiculous. A reality show? What? I don't even watch reality TV." So, and my daughter was like, "Mom, how many opportunities like this happen to people? You just got to do it just to say you did it." And so I said, "You're right. Let's do it."
So did your kids come with you at the time?
No. They stayed at home. I was gone 3 weeks, and my older son kind of looked out. Well, my daughter probably took care of my son, actually.
Okay.
But no, they stayed behind, and I didn't have any contact with anyone, because they take your laptop, your phone, your passport, your wallets, everything. And you have a PA, production assistant.
Okay.
And they have their contact information. So I gave that to work, in case there was some type of emergency or something.
So it's just like a job. Some jobs are like that.
Yeah.
Some jobs are like that. Yeah. Especially back in the day before cell phones.
Yeah. Right. The good old days.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's a pretty fast turnaround. 36 hours.
Oh, I literally, as soon as I got the green light, I ran to the mall. I bought 2 dresses and 2 pairs of shoes because they were like, you're going to need some kind of cocktail stuff. And I couldn't fit my fat ass in anything I had. So I was like, okay, I got to go get something. And yeah. And I just threw some stuff together. And I said, look, I don't like walk around in lingerie. Like I've got leggings and sweatshirts. Like that's what I live in. And they were like, just bring what you got. And I was like, okay, here I come.
Yeah. So
it was pretty wild.
So did you have any idea what type of woman they were looking for? You know, they don't say anything, you know, kind of vague.
They don't tell you anything. They tell you the least amount of information as possible. And I was even more confused once I met the other women as to how I got there.
So like when you got to the other airport, was there a car waiting for you, a driver?
Oh yeah, and you got kind of the star treatment. You know, they had the little thing, the placard with your name on it, and the black car, and you know, it was. And then somebody met you at the hotel because they wanted us all sequestered. We didn't get to see each other because I knew my friend was there because I had talked to her before she left, but she didn't know I was coming because I hadn't gotten the green light yet, so she wasn't sure I was going to be there or not. But yeah, then they just had people that took care of you. And for like 2 days, all I saw was the PA and the producers, and I stayed in my room the whole time. Yeah. It was boring.
So when did y'all start officially taping?
It was the day after Labor Day of 2023, September. It was like September 5th, I think.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So what was the day-to-day routine like? How many are you taping? Long hours? Oh god, I heard about that.
Yeah, and no days off. There were no days off.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I think it was a 21 or 20 or 8, I don't know, it was like 3 weeks basically. But I left early, so I wasn't there the entire 3 weeks. But every morning they, you know, if you weren't up and moving by like 7:30, they would come and wake you up because they wanted you dressed and ready, and you weren't allowed out of your rooms in the morning until you were mic'd. So you got to know the audio folks really well because they were the first person you saw in the morning and the last person you saw before you went to bed. So you would get mic'd, you know, you would get dressed and showered and everything. And, you know, some days I put more effort into it than others, trust me. Yeah. And then they would make you up and you'd go downstairs and go in the kitchen and start mingling, you know, eat breakfast, have coffee, and kind of see what was going on. And we didn't know like any plan. Like we had no idea what our day would consist of. Like when something happened, we found out about it as it happened. There was no planning, no structure. And that was, you know, that for me personally, that was a little traumatic. So that was, and they threw you balls. I mean, this wasn't just like, oh, hey, get your swimsuits on, we're going to the pool. I mean, it was, hey, put your swimsuits on, we're going in the backyard and pouring maple syrup all over each other.
Oh, we don't play that.
You know, it was crazy shit. And like, I was so embarrassed. And
so
I, you know, constantly thinking,
so the theme of the show was like, it's kind of dramatic and like anything can happen at any given time. And the producers created the theme. They were in on it. Y'all didn't really know anything.
Yeah, I'll be honest, because a lot of people ask me, well, do they tell you what to do and what to say? And I'm like, no. I mean, the producers were great. They're very experienced. It's the same producers that do like The Bachelor and The Bachelorette series for ABC. And they were very, very professional, very fun, very experienced. And all the words are our own words. Like nobody would tell us what to say. I mean, the most we got from them was like guidance. They would be like, hey, Lannette, I think Anthony's in the Realty room with Rebecca. You might want to go check that out. And I'm like, wait, what? Okay. And I go running in there. And of course, then I'm like, oh, fuck this, you know, and I have my little dramatic episode. But that's the most that they really manipulated things.
So what time y'all would get up? Most days.
Every morning, like between 6:30, 7. Now, sometimes I would try to sleep till 8 because we would be up. There were nights, mornings, where the night shift producers would come in and be like, y'all need to go to bed. Like it's 3 a.m., shut up and go to bed. And we would, you know, usually we'd been drinking. So, We
That's
weren't
pretty
always really very obedient. But yeah, it was long days and long nights for sure.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So for 3 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
Straight.
I think I was there 18 days. I don't remember. I was there like 5 days short of everybody else. Not to spoil the show if anybody's planning to watch it, but I left early. So
okay, so when you left, what happened?
it's a simple question with a really complicated answer. Well, what happened was I started hanging out with this guy Anthony, and he was very smooth Italian New Yorker and not my type, but he pursued me, and that was very flattering. And he said all the right things, and I really liked hanging out with him. And what people didn't see is, him telling me things like, hey man, like I really dig you and I really want to see you after this, and I want you to come up to the shore and spend time with me. And so I'm really thinking, oh well, this show is just kind of like a little inconvenience. We'll see each other after and spend time together and see if we can make this work. And needless to say, none of that happened. But they brought in some new MILFs, and trying to spice things up, and it certainly spiced things up. And one of the ladies caught the attention of Anthony, and so Anthony started pursuing her, unbeknownst to me. I didn't realize the extent to which he was engaging with her. Let's put it that way. But once I, caught wind of it, and it became very apparent that he had some interest, I was pissed off. I was like, you're not going to make me look like a fool. Because, she and I could not be more different. Okay. Like, night and day. And I'm like, I'm not going to be put in a realm where I'm supposedly competing with this woman. Like,